themselves that, even though these people are on bicycles, doesn't necessarily mean they're homeless or drug addicts or any sort, they're taxpayers. By a soda, you're paying taxes. Buy a soda, cigarette, and you're paying taxes. These are taxpayers. These are registered voters. You know, they need you, we need you, I need you. And we need tougher penalties for that stuff, because the way the drivers drive now, you think it was that, what's the name of that, video game, Death Race or whatever, something like that, that's the way they think. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't seem to notice you at all.
Yeah,
And then only grade, I thought it was tested.
yeah, and you do it. Oh, I tried to get as much of that out as I could in 90 seconds, but it's hard.
Right, right. It's like one thing that I pay attention to is like the sidewalks and stuff, like going out of parking lots and different, stuff like that. Like I always try to remember to make sure that before I get to that sidewalk, I look both ways to make sure nobody's walking.
Yeah.
Especially because, the Pinellas County Trail goes, so many miles from one end to the other, that there are a lot of crossroads that people on bicycles, especially in walkers, and the electric bikes that are even whizzing faster.
I didn't know better at first, sometimes the people were trying to do it on purpose. I didn't know better, still.
Some are,
They just forget.
some are, they're trying to hit you on purpose, some are, and it's just their aggressive driving, it's for true. I've been riding, I'm 67, I've been riding since I was a kid. I've never experienced it, and I have a mirror, and I dive wherever I have to dive, because I want to be alive.
Consider the nicest thing you want people in the road, as soon as they get behind the wheel, they're like, why? You know what I mean? It's immaculate. Especially everybody's got so much to do with the work on it.
I wasn't advocating for money, but I was asking for back, tougher penalties about stuff like that. Nobody is that.
Rhetoric about pedestrians always have right of way in front of them.
Somebody is driving on some, hitting somebody in a wheelchair, hitting somebody on a bike or pedestrian. There's no excuse.
They don't recognize you as someone who can damage their vehicle.
Yeah.
They think about it.
I would say, I was, participant, like they said, I went with Gary, my main function was, I went and picked them up when I was a bus driver, so. I went and got him early, I picked them up, we were there early, I can't say we were not expecting to be there as long as we were, part of the reason why we were there as long as we were, is there were 130 people that had signed up, that's why they reduced. They said at the beginning of the meeting that they were reducing the speed times to 90 seconds. So you think we would have gotten more time if there wasn't as many people there. And I did notice that they did go through a bunch of people that didn't show up. But we were there for almost 3 hours. We left right after he spoke. My takeaway that I got from it, I had thought it was interesting. She behaved like she was supposed to be sat right in front. They were up there, and the takeaway I got from everybody up on the stage, sitting at the table, was they were bored, and they acted like they didn't want to be there, which was very insulting as far as I'm concerned. And I also, one of the, I think it was Representative Cheney, during the meeting before Gary spoke, she got called out by one of the people that went up to the podium to speak. And if I remember right, it had something to do with his daughter got killed by a drunk driver or something. It was something that she had voted against and shouldn't have. So she got called out in front of everybody and was not happy camper. She didn't really say anything, but you could tell on her face that she did not like getting called out, which is a big concern. Anybody else?
Was this recorded?
Yes, it was kind of word.
There are places where we could go and like.
I think if you go to the Florida Channel website, I know that there was like 3 different cameras there and they were actively recording and stuff. I don't know if it's streamed live, but if you go to their website, there should be a way to, there should be some way to be able to stream it, because I think that the Gordon channel also has a YouTube channel or something, so you can actually go and watch.
Monday, there were 3 different news, is there a woman in my time, in fact,
Okay.
Yeah, we do those to me. Yeah, if you just go for a chain and all application, it's the pressure for that.
Yeah, it's public record.
Yeah, I know that they were there because there was at least 2 or 3 guys there that were wearing the shirts instead and stuff. They were sticking with cameras.
Did they make the TV and all?
Yeah, usually that's what happens. They have their own broadcast channel when they live stream or whatever, sort of things like that.
It's good.
Board meetings, all that kind of stuff, but there should be a way to go back and watch the whole thing.
I have 2 other things with that, here, if I could. Okay, and so, this kind of dovetails with what Silas said, and this is, you know, sometimes I can be a little snarky. Yeah. Who can't, right? And so, if you want, so Silas said, you know, a lot of times the legislators are there, it was 9 to noon at least, but you know, they shouldn't be able to sit and be in full attention for 3 hours.
Yeah,
And so, some of them took a phone call every now and then, maybe they have to go to the bathroom, whatever. But I have these postcards, and this is where the snark comes in. And these postcards just say on the front, "Dear elected official, this is a postcard from your boss." And then it says, "Pay attention or at least pretend to." And if you'd like to take one, I'll give you a postcard stamp. And you can fill it out and send it to, you know, I give you a couple, you've got, you know, representatives, you've got city officials, you've got county officials. So if you'd like to. Okay, and then I'll give you some stamps. Okay.
Get your attention and we adjust it to whatever, you thought they slack on.
And you could just stick it in your pocket if you wanna, you know, use it. There's, and you know what, you can write them a compliment, nobody says you can't, right? You can say, hey, thanks for, you know, thanks for doing a good job trying hard, voting for this, voting for that. The last thing I know about after this, we do have just a little bit of time, is I like to finish things up that we start if we want to. And so we spent 2 different meetings talking about writing a personal narrative or statement or some kind of something to use in advocacy. And some people shared things, that was good, we got starts. I shared with you my, free-form poem. We started off with that one, remember being glorious, we all read it. And so what I was gonna propose today, if you want, and if we have time, is I've got like this brown plain paper, we can just put it up on the wall and we can just brainstorm. I was thinking either 2 statements. One is like something I wish you knew. And this could be to elected officials, to people who donate, you know, give grant money, or it could be just people that walk by and see people that look on the house. So something I wish you knew, or you could go along with that, you know, being poor is, and then we can make it a list that way. We could do a mix and match. But if we want to do that all together, then I could take that and we could make something that's more from the group rather than individual. And I just thought that would be a way to finish this up as we go forward, because I'll tell you something else, and Carrie will tell us more about that. Is that it's our hopes that Sherry and I, we're asking to present to bigger cities in Pinellas County, to their county, or to their city, councils or commissions, to let them know about the pit count, about homelessness in Pinellas County, about the Alice report, about what this looks like, people who are in need in our county and how they can help. And it would be nice if we have, this is what our lived experience came up with, that they like to know. You know, and so, what do you guys think? You want to just spend 5 or 10 minutes doing that brainstorm activity?
I think it would,
and then I
Yeah,
can.
a lot more robust ideas.
Norman, what,
You don't need to like do it as a group, you know, you have to everybody.
Yeah. you can either go up, you can do it that way anonymously, or you can just shout it out or put it up there.
Okay.
But, you know, I would think we quicker to start it out.
It's scary, but
I don't know about personally, the different municipalities and stuff, but when it comes to the different municipalities and talking to their, boards and stuff.
Yeah.
I think one of the places that we should start with is Clearwater, because they know there's a lot of problems out there. I know, my grandparents actually used to run that soup kitchen.
Oh,
Yeah, my grandparents were in Salisbury, so they used to run that soup kitchen. Yeah, all did the bush, my grandfather did the bush, and my grandmother ran it. What I'm talking about, if, I'm sure that, anybody in the know is a little aware of this, but I know that Clearwater, some time ago, I don't know, if he's still in there, employ or whatever, but there was like an advocate that they hired, to help them with the homeless, basically getting the homeless out of Clearwater and somewhere else, or getting somebody else. And,
There's also going to be a bigger influx of homeless. That's going to include the health.
yes, ma'am.
Somebody did a post on Nextdoor, about the share of village, and just a friend, just a lot, not his trailer, not $1,250 a month, just for the free supply. And so I have both arms, and I'm gonna work on, making a comment on it as well, and bring up, the COC, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the more people that know about it, you know, it's not just drug addicts, it's not just, you know.
Is that location in Clearwater Incorporated or the,
Yeah, but
It's a block, it's in Marvin, it's a block.
oh,
it's like, it,
okay,
It's Albert City and Starkey, I think, one of the next big arrangements in Starkey.
we'll have to see, we'll find out, Jennifer, what,
that's a big.
what jurisdiction it was,
now.
so who you'll speak to, maybe the county commission or the Martin.
Yeah, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's near the Tampa Bay in-suite. The hotel, it's right there.
I'll look it up.
Right there off of 19. Next to the where they built the airplane, the motor stuff.
I know that one grant maybe actually takes out for the rest of the entire block inside of it. But it's not the only one. On the 21st, there's like 2 or 3 different places up there.
Okay, let's get this, just so we can think of like brainstorming. So if you're talking to somebody who's got money, either an elected official who's in charge of the budget, you know, something like that, what do you want people to know, or what do people need, who you're representing, lived experience? So whatever you know from your experience or interactions, what do they need?
Just because somebody looks on fire doesn't look.
Okay, good. All right, might not look homeless, what else? Whatever homeless looks like, right, Silas? And what else?
that's just bothering me, I don't know how you want to work
Good.
it.
Want to shower more than once a week, what else?
People who, do not have mental issues or drug addiction need help too, and should be placed as more of a priority because they're actually trying to raise up. I don't know how you word that in a soundbite, you know what I mean, but that's the lot of people.
Yeah, just because they don't have mental health or substance issues doesn't mean that they don't need help.
It would actually be cheaper to help and more people just get them a little bump up and then they're good, than it would be to help people up that are falling.
So like, don't go to the bottom of the list just because you don't have those other issues, okay? I mean, this is just so I can.
That's great.
What else? Kids, what do you need?
Because it seems like people, mental health, drugs,
or children?
Or children.
Okay,
Have a priority.
okay.
There's a lot of illegal issues with children as long as they're accompanied by their parents. It's okay.
So like, and if you do tell that single adults,
Our single adults, they come to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting help prevents those people from getting those things.
yeah, and getting help early prevents the other stuff. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but I can just say from my personal experience myself, I was about crazy before I got
Okay.
my place.
Childhood trauma
When,
and other trauma.
okay, understand that many people or remember, I mean,
Coming from toxic families.
one thing that I remember April telling me, you know, and it's like, anyone who just faces the fear of eviction, like, I don't know if I can make my rent payment next Friday, it's traumatic. I'm sure it affects you and, right? And so there's a trauma with every stage of either fear of homelessness, right, or experiencing
So
it.
there's like, yeah.
That's serious.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, what else?
The ability for people who've never been homeless before, I mean, these things are great, know where to get them, but if you're homeless, you're on the street, nobody wants to tell you anything. Accessibility to services
Okay,
for people who don't know.
okay. Services and resources. Okay. What else?
I'd like to be able to cook my own meals.
Okay. Because you lived in the car for like 2 years, so a place we could come in and everything can't be cold and packaged. What else?
But I did it quickly.
Yeah, you guys are smart. Yeah, here, sorry.
The system that the legally abuses people need to focus more on going after business people or the managers of apartment complexes rely on their residents.
We prey on people that don't have the money.
Got it. Target people who pray.
On this one, the news office in 2023, when I said, you know, October, I talked to a federal attorney. And he told me to contact the charity, and started to buy my electric charity.
Yes, yes.
In Tarpon Spring, after I moved out, the manager put eviction papers on my door after I moved out.
Yeah.
I had a paper, a green paper that I was moving out, and I had a witness with me. After I moved out, she put these two papers on it. And I was asking her, this weekend, talked to all the former neighbors, and they even remembered and commented on the comment.
Yeah, Michael. 1800, really, these, yeah, and a lot of times we live in those, mobile home parks and utilities are more. Anything else?
People that are in need actually receive help in the correct manner. It's actually that positive to the community around them.
It's cheaper to, yeah,
Yeah, it's actually cheaper and more beneficial, not only for the person, but the entire community around them. For people who need help to actually get it, because when you don't, that pushes that pushes you into dark places.
yeah.
I'd like to throw something out for everybody to kind of discuss, because I don't know how I would want to say it to the powers that be, but our worst enemy out here is other homeless people who act a fool, trash things, people who have good hearts and want to help, they end up stop helping because somebody over there and disrespected of their either property or the person. I mean, there should be maybe some kind of recourse for that people are going to respond to, because if people walk around and they just, you know, happy, and they throw it on the ground and then wonder why you're not up there.
Right.
And that is so hard for the rest of us to be a place to charge your phone, or we want to, it's late. It's burning all the locations. Like, I don't know how we word that, or, I don't know, feedback, you know.
I agree with Gary, there is such a stigma with, I've had such a hard time trying to get a place because I have section 8 and it was, I actually got discriminated against by one person while I was in the middle of doing it.
Yeah,
It was almost next to impossible. If I was within 2 or 3 days of losing my voucher, and if that would have happened, I'd still be my hand right now.
I see that.
Maybe not even here, because I was getting ready.
You know,
Get about here and once it. Find out what they think. We're gonna do their favor.
and
We can raise that.
that's kind of, what, all right, so Sherry and I and some other members of the executive committee are gonna meet with this gentleman in St. Pete that, has been, in the paper.
I think Peter for a downtown partnership, and they talk about the clean and safe, community.
And so one of the things we might think about, we're gonna have to see what kind of learn more about his concerns or ideas. But, you know, you've got up here, not just the homeless or all homeless, who I just put liquor, who work respectfully in their surroundings. And, I think, you know, that's part of their concerns. And I'm thinking, then you, our viewers, you know, wherever you happen to be, but how do we get others to be respectful of our shared community so that people are okay with, I guess, with us in the community the way we are. So I stopped at the Clearwater Greenwood Library yesterday. I'm friends with their librarian. And Krista was telling me that, you know, we're seeing more homeless. And she said, yeah, I'm seeing more. There's a couple that sleeps in front of the library door at night. You know, they have cameras. And she said, but, you know, they're defecating over here, there's trash over here and whatever. Well, I get the trash is unacceptable, but I mean, when you've got to go and you don't have access, right? I mean, so what are some of the solutions that we could come up with or think about or advocate for?
Maybe a group incremental, thing you put on church sites, what do they call them again?
Oh, porta potties.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was, you know, I made this post on Facebook about, there's this backpack cot.
I saw
Did
it.
you see that?
Permanent state, and it's got light in everything.
Yeah, and it's got a cover.
Back.
So I need a post, like, what if we had congregations allow 10 of those each night on their property? And, I mean, truly it'd be best if people were inside, but if they're outside and then you can open the door,
So it's safe for sleep space, being out and young people,
and you're not being harassed by others and it's bad.
and then
I know it is, but,
Not that they're sleeping.
yeah,
And yeah, there's a problem with trash. Main problem with the scenario you described is using the bathroom.
but what if someone with a church opened and unlocked the doors at 8 PM or wherever, and everybody goes in for a half hour,
Good luck with that.
and then they come in?
Those people that are defecating outside are gonna be the.
You like me to bring
ones
some?
that go in and destroy this.
See, what is that?
Put it on the inside. It's like, watch me,
hey, would you like me to bring
when
something?
I'm
Oh,
here,
I'm okay, but thanks.
when I'm here, something needs to be done. I don't feel like punches.
Yeah.
You screw up, I'm right there.
Yeah.
And I'm right there to manage,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna let you ruin this for the rest of us.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I would be in favor of starting to go more towards, the $500 fine. Or maybe 6 months in jail. And if you keep littering,
Hard to catch somebody.
I'll tell them,
Yeah.
It's a more of respect in general that
Right.
a lot of people speak of. Well,
They-
I'm homeless, so why should I give a shit? That's not the right
Yeah.
frame of mind. And you still have to carry yourself as for a certain amount of time.
Here. That's what I tell them. If you can't follow the rules, you need to go away from here.
What kind of stuff?
And I can make that happen.
because again, I want to reiterate, that is our worst enemy out there.
Yeah, I agree.
It
I
really
agree.
is.
Because people, what, yeah.
One of the biggest barriers for churches to actually want to help is. And so Yeah, I've talked to a number of pastors who's find out that they're just like, there's no way I can do this if you're on a church building insured, so I think it's a good idea, we just have to figure out a way to have someone that can cover the liability aspect. As it for them, because the church.
And the only people we're talking about, you know,
I do, and that's, I have a problem, because that's
Yeah.
the, a lot of places, a lot of businesses, I've heard that about McDonald's, I've heard that about a lot of different things. There was one place, it's not far from here, you got Texas County.
I would like to read.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably saying, all this stuff was going on in there, and a little sign that was about this big, I said, due to our insurance, you can't have this breeder. I walked in with my dog acting dressed like this, and they basically told me next leave. And I'm like, you can't do that, that's illegal. And a lot of that.
The laws don't apply to you anymore, and that's not fair, I agree with that. Service dogs, you don't have to like it.
Does it? Okay.
Is,
Sorry. I
yeah,
got it.
it's what the news about the government shutdown. I've seen it on the news about the government shutdown.
Okay, so what is it where?
It's a brilliant idea. I love it.
Thank you.
It's not the little people, it's people that have the power to pull the string, it's the mindset. They have to re-educate them, like, it's not the way they're speaking.
So, really, that's beautiful. Thank you, Kathleen, because this is a great way to get a lot of stories and participation and in small sound bites that just make perfect sense when you go out to share that. And then we know that we're representing people who actually are living and walking that life. So that means a lot. With the government shutdown, so that started October 1st. And I wanted to just kind of go over a little bit of information I have around how it is definitely, like, maybe some myths out there or what is so far still running and what may be affected later on. But then I also want to hear, we want to hear how you are being affected. If you've lost any services, if you are concerned about losing certain services, things of that nature. So government shutdowns, because basically the federal government, legislators, Congress, and the president do not come together on a budget. Crazy pen, all against governments, right? And so that's what happened. They could not come together on budget, and so slowly things stopped working. There was a forced shutdown, and that means that a lot of things that we depend on may not be running as well. We've been surprised to find out. I know, like for Housing and Urban Development, that agency for HUD, it covers all the vouchers. It covers the VA as well. It covers vouchers too for veterans. It covers a lot of the expenses that COCs have across the country. We are still able to bill and get paid. We billed before. We wanted to be proactive. We're like, we're trying to get it, because nonprofits live on very, very little when it comes to payroll and paying for staff. And so we billed before, but then October 1st we billed, we were paid 2 days later, and now we have a plan to keep doing that until no longer. I talked to the Lake Center, to Lake Kevin, and he said same thing. They are still getting paid, so our people who are in permanent supportive housing are not at risk of being of losing funding right now, and we're us having to try to figure out how else to fill those gaps.
Because I can say from my personal experience, I work with them as how I got my place. They pay like 80–90% of my rent, and I have a portion of 90%. I got all my stuff this month, but if I don't get my stuff next month, something happens where I don't get paid next month, I'll be in trouble. Because at my apartment complex, at my rent, I get paid on the third, and my rent is not paid by the third on the fourth. They tack $100 on my, in 2 weeks after that, and within that month, they'll get an eviction notice.
Right, so there are other, like, ways that.
Yeah, especially like that, is they don't stop.
They signed an agreement with the government, so the liability lies on the government, not the tenant. You're liable for your share.
That's right.
But if you don't pay yours, if you pay yours and they don't pay theirs, they can't tell you about it.
That's right, because I've already been in this, I experienced that last month where I don't know what happened, but their portion got applied to my account, because I can go on my phone, because that's how I have to pay my bills. I can go on my phone and I can look at all of that stuff, and I paid my stuff on time where I'm supposed to, but their part didn't get applied until like the 8th or whatever. And, when it was the 3rd of the month last month, I called up Adam Morris and talked to him, and I'm like, dude, what's going on with this? It's not cool. And he took care of it, but that's just because my part doesn't stop, the bill doesn't stop. If I don't pay my part of the bill, it's going to be a problem. And I'm living paycheck to paycheck because I basically have to go and run around. If I don't have the money already stored in an account somewhere, so I go pay it like on the 1st or whatever, I have to run around like a man on the 3rd in order to get everything done before everything closes, because if I don't, I get penalized for it.
Well, it's not, so this goes on even before the government.
I know.
This is right here, that's.
I have a question, on the paperwork that was given to us when we came in, it says, that not everything is safe, but that the,
Just
snap could get shut down. Do you know the criteria of how long the shutdown will cause snap and food stamps?
No, so it depends how long the shutdown goes for, that over time, different services that people depend on will start shutting down. So like tide thing, it's happening now, we don't know how.
Right.
And that's something that we'll make sure that, we're in track of and share and it's just to.
It's happening around politics. Looks like it's.
Yeah, the last shutdown lasts 35 days, and he's talking about it on a typical show a couple nights ago. The last shutdown was 35 days, and that actually was kind of painful for some people. That's the whole thing, is I don't, and I'm sure everybody else can agree with me, is the fact that just because they're being retards up there in Washington doesn't mean all of us would suffer for it. It's not our fault. This should have been, figured out. What it's certain people are keeping the whole thing hostage out there on purpose, because all of this wasn't up to them. It's just like everything else. People in power have the leverage to do. They're in their own bubble. All of this doesn't affect them. That's why they.
Right, they're not living in this.
No.
Right?
Two things, and one, worked out what Washington does or doesn't do, because it does affect us, yes, but we, at a granular level, can't help that. All we can do is actually vote and know what's going on. Why is that before here? And for the high, and most of them are, that actually might be good. Because they're not, they might get more time to actually reconsider some of their decisions and just,
Be talking him $100.
well, to get my grants and all that. So that actually might be helpful, but for us as a group, yes, it might be affecting us sooner or later. Remember, they only care about vote. And they only care about votes when we tell them, you don't do this, we will vote against you. Let them know.
And that's
the only thing we have,
Yeah.
is our vote.
That's part of the thing, is that because of the position that they're in, they've insulated themselves from money so that this stuff does not affect them. People are well off and have money, and this kind of stuff doesn't affect them.
I think Norm, did you?
Yeah.
I thought it was, okay. Well, should I just finish up really quickly? I wanted to say that basically what Michael was saying, that there are services that are still happening. This is very serious though. If it continues on, people will start to realize how much that money matters, right? For your benefits, for all kinds of services that people take for granted, don't even realize where the stuff comes from. And so voting and writing, sending that postcard, that's important work to do. Make sure they know where you stand.
The only positive that's happening right now is that Trump is using this to build a lot of stuff and get rid of a lot of stuff, waste and stuff that doesn't need to happen on everybody, but
Give the floor to Norm.
I have a quick report to make on this topic. First of all, the average government shutdown is 8 days. It's already past that. The longest has been 28 days. So prepare yourself. Also, it says here about replacing Medicare and Social Security cards. I tried to do that. They are suspended, not maybe. They won't issue any Medicare cards until I tried to get it. The other thing is, you cannot receive a Social Security benefits letter. That's an awards letter for your everything. I also won't give that to you. These are the negatives which are occurring right now.
I can say it's part of the social security stuff.
I just wanted to make that clear for them.
Part of the social security stuff, as long as you have an account online to be able to get into the social security, you can actually go there and actually do.
Well, the national office for you.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Because I know this because I've done it. You can go on the social security website, you can go into your account, and there's a way to download the benefit letter from your account online to your phone or whatever, and then go and print it yourself. Because I've done it. I've done it multiple times. I just had to do it with the IRS in order to get help with my electricity bill. So there is a way to do it. It's just, you can't physically go to the office.
Same thing with your food stamp.
Yeah, do all of that stuff on your phone.
According to what it
Yeah,
says, it says that, standing uninterrupted for October, however, the shutdown lasting more than 2 weeks could disrupt access to business, depending on the state. It could also cause challenges for people who are needing to apply for a system. So if you don't already have the system, you may be on a freeze until it's over before you can get it.
Yeah.
But you can-
Your most recent approval letter.
Yes,
Right.
disability for the VA and that kind of stuff, that kind of stuff is going to get deleted.
Thank you. Yes.
Anyone else? As far as adding new services, right now, we're seeing in a holding pattern, very much like our membership, so they figure out funding properly. They're not going to start any new services, because just like when HUD gives us, money, we have current services that are running that have to be paid. We have to keep the machine running before we think about anything new. So of course, you're gonna spend anything new, until they get the funding, until they get done fighting over and unlock the government and get it back up, then we could probably start to see new programs get started or new applications being taken care of. But in the meantime, we're in a holding pattern. We gotta wait for them to quit the little tit for tat up there. Basically. Anybody want to add anything?
That's what I was saying, like you're in the middle of a case, or you're getting rid of that stuff, it's going to take longer, it's going to take time for those kind of things, because you're in the middle of it. If you've already been proved and you're getting your stuff and all that stuff, that's not gonna stop. Unless they're gonna.
I agree with Charlotte. I would agree that you can go in there and download your letter and print it out yourself to show that you have it. But they're not gonna process anything new if we're in a holding pattern.
No.
So they figure out the funding and they get the government back over.
I think that I'm hearing two things, they're not exactly the same. And so, yes, one online,
Yeah.
You can download, but if you don't have access to that or are very tech savvy, yes, if you call, so if I was to call, if I try to call like the HUD field office right now, or email, like, I'm not getting a response.
No,
But I can do everything online, so for anyone who has difficulty accessing through that system, that maybe, even if they are perfect speeding, but then they have more difficulty getting somebody to talk to.
yeah, no, I can confirm that. Last time I was on the phone, and I was actually in the parking lot on First Street. So I was on the phone for 3 hours.
They have administrative assistants like we do, with everything on hold. No one ever came to the phone.
I also did hear that there is a possibility that they're not gonna get the back pay and stuff too. I was trying to add that into this case. Trying to get this over.
This is actually great. I actually get emails from someone, she's a journalist and she gathers information on, Medicare resources, now resources, different things like that from, all over the country. And it's called, low, sorry, low income. And, I was just gonna share the website if you guys are interested. And she also has an email that she sends out weekly. And she shares information on changes to Medicare, Medicaid, anything having to do with, low income or seniors, children, anything having to do with anything with government. If you guys are interested. Can you share that email?
Can you share the email, say that out?
Yeah, absolutely. Her main email is, lowincomerielief.com. And her name is Nicole Thielen, NICOLLU, THELIN. You're actually been getting her emails for about 2.5, 3 years.
But her information be accurate.
Very accurate and very on point, and she covers information for all 50 states. So some of her emails may just be general, but some of it may be for our particular state or for other states. But
She's the reason I got changed my safety, like, oh, I'm housing in case if you realize that it's some kind of scam.
no, yeah.
They'll bet it was not replaceable.
Yeah, and she does have, she has YouTube videos where anytime the government makes changes on anything, she has a whole team of journalists that work with us. And, they go through financial registry, and whatever makes changes on Medicare, Medicaid, which is about. They completely, go through it, research all of that, and then she does a YouTube.
Is anybody aware of what the actual fight is about? Is anybody about that?
Well, I wanted to just share that the handout that was about the government shutdown, this came from the National Life and Homelessness, the credit for Institute of Social Security.
Again, is anybody aware of what it's actually going on there? What they're actually thinking about? I don't know what's about.
I know it's bad here.
The Republicans want to increase, they want to do away with the subsidies for, the affordable care.
Yes.
And so, millions of people's health care, costs will double or triple, mine included.
That's the main argument, but it's also, extending, all of those services that have been proven that are being given to illegals to keep that.
Not getting any help, so people, immigrants are not getting.
Depends on where you are. In places like New York, you're actually getting free hotels, free food, and like money for giving them.
That's not true.
I would understand that, the conservative Republicans are also planning on offering an alternative, solution to health services.
They haven't offered you.
They
Not yet, When I heard they had some in the works, I don't know how true that is, you know, you can't trust anything COT.
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay.
But so when we talk about like a lot of the things we've advocated for, as COC, and just statewide COCs and nationally, one of the issues that's been coming up is has been, and I'm not trying to get political here at all, because I think people come in all kinds of, you know, but as, my concern is that there's a movement, and it is by the Republican side, to do away with COCs and to severely limit, help for housing,
Yeah.
up to like 2 years max. And also to require like a lot of preconditions, involuntary civil commitments for people based on who they deem has a mental illness or something like that. And so, some of those things can, you know, get really slippery. And so I get concerned about that because we rely very heavily, living in Pinellas County, you can't get help for 2 years, get a service job here and be able to afford it. That's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And so there's no amount of like, you know, look at your leg up, but then you're gonna go get a job. And you're not gonna be able to have people who are homeless work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a gentrification process going on here where people who can't pay $30,000 a month for rent stay involved. You know, it's not said out loud, but it's heard about it.
There are people who are in middle income brackets, like who make pretty good money, nurses and teachers who do not, who are now entering homelessness.
It's gonna be hard back to the economy, the housing market. Further supply, security, background check, power deposit, water deposit, garbage. You're looking between $5,000 and up to $8,000. Just throwing it around. Oh, you know,
That's illegal by definition, they could qualify like that.
and what the public doesn't realize, you could take anybody, take 3 or 4 paychecks out of the budget. Guess what? Now they're homeless, and they're not gonna be able to move in someplace.
There's no way to get back
You
out.
know, hurricane hit, they're homeless.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah, it could happen to anybody.
Every place, this community, said it before, the meeting service Monday. Some Clearwater, there was 600 different apartment complexes designed for people who don't earn a lot of money out front. So I came directly from the department there. I only pay 1 month's rent, half security deposit, I've been there 5 years.
that's because you got it by the government.
$50. Total.
Somebody paid.
See,
It's 30% of your income.
you also have only for a nonprofit. I'm going to the secretary comes to one of the COC meetings next month. But I recommended them before, it's on call, they even have applications where you can sign an affidavit, you have no income, they'll take that.
And
No, is there a way you
This place is here right now, requiring a huge deposit, so a marketplace, in a market-oriented apartment, yeah, first class security goes all in, utility deposits, it can get high. It's gonna be hard to find.
It's that hard, they say that
You have.
subsidized housing would be necessary.
And I confirm that because of the fact that it costs almost $1,000 to get my apartment. I got help with all of that stuff, and that's the only reason why I'm even there in the first place. Because I can tell you truthfully that the rent, just the rent for my apartment, and it's 1-bedroom apartment, is more than my entire stipend I get. It's more, if I didn't have help, then I wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
I might not even be here either. As far as,
look at it on the good news.
I'm more.
Guys, let's hear
I'll
yourself, please.
put this in on the good news story, a couple of people that I'd like to bring back, talk to us, April Lott would be one of them. All right, 2, the new manager over at Trinity, Tampa Bay, feeding Tampa Bay, would like to come in and sit in one of our meetings, People
Maybe
end
about
up
to
getting
take
broke out.
two showers when they get it.
A couple of the advocacy, operatives like to come in and check this out, so we're gonna have some guests here in the near future.
Good.
Unfortunately, for some of the, that are, old timers, I could get Antoine to, one of the old managers being Tampa Bay. With his new job, he's just unreachable, but the new guy who is also a social worker, he's expressed a desire to come in, once we, get some free time, but I'm reaching out to April Lott presently to get her to come back. Because we never really finished talking with her, and that was very productive, I'd like to see her come back.
She's direction.
The lady from Progression for Better Living.
Awesome.
It's also,
Have you talked about, at least, I think that's.
At least number? Yeah.
Yeah, I think she would be able to.
Yeah. Think of.
and I didn't want to tell them that too, without, y'all knowing about it, blessing, so. Any objections to any of that? I mean, I'll let you know when they're gonna come speak, but they've asked to, sit in one of our meetings.
The more people like that we have that are willing to hear stuff, that, I
But
don't
as
think,
soon as I can get April on the phone, I'm gonna invite her to come back. She's just a very busy woman, and I gotta give her time, but we get her to come back in.
Something just pulled up, maybe we can get it safe before.
And for you.
Like I mentioned before, the place I'm staying on, I'm trying to find, secretary, well, run CS, two CSC policies. Which you can see more about, right, to five. I encourage people, I tried to invite my neighbor to, the meeting tonight, I think you was homeless. So I'm still trying to get everybody here, somebody from third view to come to our meetings. Both here and what we see down there right now. Because I've been involved with CSC for a while, and they're all coming around to the results, what they're about, which is helping us, homes, for the excellence. And hopefully soon to be excellence.
You're here.
And the only way we can really be super effective is to get more people involved. People, your boss, neighbor, phones, people. To come to meetings, and you don't have to get involved, just shout out to the rafters. You can just listen. And if there's something, hey, I'm talking about this, but you talk about it, because the more ideas, the more people we have, the better it is. I think some of these days, I think we did help COC, helped in our advocacy, I think it's helped ultimately us. And that's the point is that we need members being on the board, or being on the executive committee. Reminds us that this, and people here, of what COC is about, and just remember, this is just 1 of 27 in the state. With meetings like this. And by people who trying to advocate on behalf of homeless, make it better for the state that we live in. And so the more people that you invite, the more you try places that I'm not tired of seeing everybody else the same old group again. It's a good thing that you're here. It's a good thing that you're consistent here to let you know what's going on, what we're doing, and how we're fighting on your behalf, and how you're helping us by giving us real actual ideas to present the power that they. So, that recommendation, I agree, but well, bring it in.
I was wondering if, since the microphone's out here, is this meeting going to be on YouTube?
It's being recorded, or will at least be recorded, yeah.
I completely agree, Mike, and that's the reason why, like Gary was talking about, then the more different kinds of people that we can get here, that if anything at all, to just sit and listen and know what's going on, that makes it benefits everything overall, because those people will be able to go back out in the community, what they're doing, and have our buddy in their ear about this.
People have a lot of misconceptions about what's going on, and it would be nice to give little facts in there, like we're.
That's why the stigma exists in the first place when it comes to
We came to a meeting a year ago, over a year ago. We were complaining that, it was gonna happen, but at the biggest meeting, and it was going to close. And if he stayed, he would have seen what we're doing. Bringing in the chairs, CSE, the these people are front line who can help make decisions where money goes, where resources are, how to engage or be not, correctly. These are things that will help everybody correctly, so you have to be consistent, so you just go to one meeting and then, no. Just get people to come in and listen. Either your COC board meeting or to our meeting here. It's not a huge commitment. It's not to get there, to show up and see what it's about, and then hopefully we'll convince them to show up regularly. And give us some ideas that the thought.
reason for that is because at most people's attendance rates, right, it's like, it's just not very long.
I would just like to take the last, well, before, I want to give everybody else a chance to finish talking, because I would like to, take my turn. But actually, I will bring this up. Does this look familiar? It is the Advantage Pinellas housing contract. Is that still on effect, or is it still?
It's still in effect.
I'm gonna leave this with Sherry. And, y'all can, it talks about the board of, Pinellas County Board of Commissioners and, making Pinellas County fair and equal and comfortable for all citizens. And, I got that from her, I've had that for 4 years. Well, you were about to 4 years.
Yeah.
And, so I would like to leave that, and, if she was like, is everybody finished thinking?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, forgive me for being, a little emotional. This will be my last meeting. I'm moving back to North Carolina with my mother. It has been an honor to be a part of this group and to be a part of starting. I can't thank Kathleen Beckman enough for being a remarkable, passionate, supportive, encouraging person that I've ever met. And she pushed me, like, she's the one that got me to go to state council meetings and read my story and talk about my situation at State Harbor and how people are not all people are their homeless as part of drug addicts and this and that, and everybody has a story. And I can't take it for enough. This is one of the best groups that I've been a part of, and to be a part of something bigger than me. Overall, and I just want to thank you all, and I hope I can still maybe get us in link, and watch the Cause I would like to still contribute a little bit, but I can't.
So, as you're actually going to get moved.
Well, I've been through for 2 years,
Okay.
a little over 2 years, well, it was actually, the very first meeting to start talking about creating, committee was June 13th, 2023, part of the library. And staying in her moment. I remember that, so I sat next to her, and she is one of the best note takers. And when it came down to me introducing myself, I was staying in her moment. And prior to that, I was actually in Windward. And I got, get like markers, like crayons, this and that. I got the big index cards from the staff, and I cut them back. I did my fingers, and did like 6. No, Windmore is the, mental, inpatient, outpatient, psychiatric hospital. Across from, it's across from, I don't know, I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, sort of what was scary, it's sort of.
It's right before you get to, it's right before, like, if you're on 19 coming this way, it's right before you get to one.
Yeah, yeah.
So I sat my time in there, wrote Largo Public Library, the address, the time, health homeless, and I gave them out, and, there was a lot of people at that meeting. And actually even one of the wives of, one of the aides came to the hospital. I have to thank Nick. Because he listened to me, he met me in the library parking lot where I was being spoiled. By the way, well, dude, but he sat and listened to me. I met him at a Clearwater meeting, and, he actually, told my story, and, I'm really, not to sound, boastful, but I'm very, very, proud of myself. We've got more down here in 4 years. Never thought I was have the courage to do.
You are a strong woman, Jody. You are.
Thank you. My mother, I wanted to move with my mother, and there's still some. But it's right below.
Oh, that's totally understand that, because other than, you guys and Gary and, Ginger and Caseburger that helped me get my,
Yeah. I've got Kathleen, I've got, Nick. So, yeah, I just, this is, my second home. I really love it down here. This is beautiful. I just wish that people would stop being so stuck in their head. And just because you have money doesn't make you any better than anybody else. And, we all deserve a home. Everybody in this country deserves a home. And I'm very proud of this committee. It started out a little rocky, because, I mean, I didn't even know. Like, gotta run, so, speak to the girl, learn how to walk. And we've done a lot in the last year, finally got it together. And, I'm grateful for Kat. She's been like the best secretary, and she does whatever they crap. Stops it right then. Woo.
everyone starts a little rough.
Exactly, because, you don't run like, just like I did on it, so, thank you, Michael, for being, an excellent representative for us on this. And, just, being there and being, being a representative for what we do and, explain to them what we are doing.
So I'm big days that we kind of like to end each meeting on it. Good, have a meeting on a positive note. Not to take it maybe the government is down, we figure sometimes that's gonna be late, we're on positive stuff. Before we close, we have hopefully complicated together.
I wanted to thank you as well. Board of Directors Executive, they're co-chair. And I know as far as like, representing us in the bigger,
On the board, yeah.
Mike is on the board, okay, Mike is on the board, and you're on the executive, and Gary, I know I can't thank you enough, like your blessing to this committee, to this community, the strength, the energy, the drive that you have. I am blown away by all the work that you do, going where you go, talking to who you talk to, getting the resources, like, you are a genuine big time.
You will be missed.
Oh, you.
And thank you for your service.
And a phenomenal member, Jennifer. Nobody, they should survive.
It doesn't mean you can't drop, pick up the phone either.
Right.
All right.
You made a difference in the community. You really have. You made a difference. That's right.
Call during the meeting so you can say hi to all of us at one time.
I can keep up my phone to listen in.
We would love.
Thank you for all you done.
Thank you for all you've done.
I don't think we can get a Zoom in here, but we could.
You're one of the few people that when you start talking, I shut up and listen, because you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of compassion for us. And for everybody that needs the help, you have a lot of compassion.
Have a long, long day.
You do.
Giving your card, like,
Yep.
I'm a city councilman, I'm going to speak at these meetings.
And I ran off the flyer. Did she give out the flyer? Yes. Just keep by.
I don't know if I have clips. Binder clips. Those are shares.
I wanted to give to a friend about those, but if I don't have something to hold it together, it'll never make it home. I can probably get way out there on the Saturday gas. You're like a Boy Scout, or a Girl Scout. Oh, those gals can take two. Are we doing the call? Right now?
I am hoping it's stamps that she will have to give it to me.
Check. Yeah.
Oh, right. You want clear already?
I was trying to. But then I caused a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's right to tell me to back up. So I did. I think, Jennifer, Scott,
Welcome aboard. Thank you. To be here.
You're gonna start.
And you're off to a good start. Oh, you're up here for the night.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
What's that?
Sure, I do it every night, every time?
No, Megan, does that actually.
Okay.
When you leave, balance.
Probably somewhere in, I don't know.
Those were I took them, I just got them last week, because I started last week, let me just check.
No, my storage is up there, actually, south. I did for a while too. It's less than middle school. That was just. You go up there, you get, yeah, north and the north light right there, Colorado. That's why I still have this emerging slow. In my apartment, it's half the size of my house.
She's got
All right.